Onwards we go, and today doing something I do a little bit more rarely. MCO, main character only, so I'm only going to be creating a single character, so timing starts slightly differently. Let's go with the first one. Let's go with this one since the one can. Okay, so this to alchemist. Roach Choker to Grand Choker, Quad of Negative, nothing on the arms, leave long sleep, 25. First belt, what happens if that? Yeah, that was actually. Then go with the nobles. Very hobby, short shot. Now. Let's go blue this time instead of red. I'm a huge fan of red, as you may have noticed, but blue is a colorful too. Hair color. Any silk hair. Alright, eyebrows. I don't really matter that much. Eyes. Yeah, that's darker. Yeah, perfect. Voice I like for those. Those. All right. Okay, so MCO takes slightly longer on the tutorial because it starts here. Since I'm not making other characters, I go ahead and include the initial setup in the tutorial as part of it. Just seems fair to me, so here we go. Art of War. That's the only time that we'll actually see this in a run is when I do MCO, essentially. Or depending on how I decide to do Fresh File, because I've considered doing Tales of Souls runs as part of it. Let's see. Dreadnought, type, Bandit, start. Sortie. Sortie him, start. Okay, Alright. Off to a wonderful start on this thing. So MCO is a slightly different challenge run of the game. Because we get all these characters, but we never have to use them, I decided to do create MCO a couple of years ago, really, and I've only run it a few times, but it involves using only the characters provided to us, which adds a little bit of challenge to the game. Not too much, but right now it does add about 15 minutes to it. Because just the difficulty of using some of these other styles and such. So, with this slight difficulty upon us, also not having the extreme stats of the else too, it makes it a little bit more possibilities for building each scenario and a few things I have to watch out for.
You should really give up.
Since I can add characters. And I only have a certain amount of weapons to work with, I have to be kind of choosy about what I do with them. So that's going to make a pretty significant difference. As usual, we're going through the tutorial first. Gerardo's telling us all about it. Nothing in the game actually changes, just the fact that I don't have 4 extra created units of my own for all Swordmasters with the katana. I only have one character with the katana for more than half of the game, really, but a couple of segments in the early game, and then some significant segments in the mid game where I won't have, near the end game, I won't have Megha available and therefore no katana. I'll have to make use for my secondary characters. And if ever Mikuni falls with something else. Whenever my dancer falls, usually it's just like, oh well, whatever, now my Swordmaster will pick up the slack. Now it's a little bit more dangerous if Mikuni falls because I have to deal with the enemy with the warriors I have left, who will not be as powerful as the auto-win Swordmaster. In that sense, it might be better, maybe, to try doing MCO with the Swordmaster instead of with the Dancer. But the Dancer, since they are the primary combatant and make everything go a bit faster, I figured it's probably better, but maybe the consistency would actually make the runs a little bit faster for having a Swordmaster. I don't know, it's something I might try in the coming months as I run these a whole lot more.
Decisive battle.
About a minute left? Yeah, I'm definitely fine.
Battle 1. Fight!
You should really give up.
Battle 2. Fight!
You should really give up. Take. Did you enjoy my dance?
Alright. That's tutorial done pretty well. Same as any other game, we use bandits primarily. Because of the fact that they will move faster and take strongholds faster. Just one of the most significant things that can be in the map. Very slight gold there. I previous was 452, so yeah, I'm timing everything right. Now moving on to Chronicle 1 and against Abilia. Again, it's going to work pretty much the same. I have to take Reese really quick and change her to a bandit. Equip her with Atropos. These are the only characters I have right now, so I have to use them. Reese isn't great, although her weapon is pretty nice. I like the wave swords, but they're just not a good weapon for totally exploiting the computer, but I won't have to worry about using her pretty much at all. And a slight mistake there. I needed to wait. Oh well, now I have to give them all 3 orders. That's a, I don't know why I made that misstep. I've done this 1,000 times. I know that's what I'm supposed to do. Just a little bit, getting a little bit too thoughtful about where I'm using my units since it's been a while since I've done this. It's kind of the funny thing where sometimes it definitely feels like
Fight!
Hit there. I get distracted because of talking about whatever I'm talking about while I'm doing things. But if I'm not talking, I'm thinking heavily about going ahead anyway and during easy, simple moments. So I can get forgetful on little things like that. And sometimes it does not always matter to, geez. This is insane that I've taken this much damage in the game there. That's just the AI being a lot more aggressive than they should be.
It looks like I got lucky.
I didn't really pause to give any moments of openings. They just decided to both of them decided to do heavier attacks, mid-attacks, right as I was coming in. And notice a horizontal attack rather than vertical, which meant that is going to hit me. Oh well, such it goes. But as I say, you going to come through? No, just going to stay there? Okay, that's fine. It's a little bit weird that you went back that quickly. Maybe it's because of the placement of my units or the health of my main character. It's those little things that sometimes randomly seemingly randomly will affect their things there. I really ought to try advertising in Discord or figure out how I can get the bots to advertise me in Discord, maybe. Let people know that I'm going online, but yeah, whatever.
Good luck to you. Fight with all your might, as I will.
Battle 1. Fight.
Sometimes backing up causes them to move forward a bit and run into me more easily, and sometimes because I backed up, I'm not quite in range, and so I get pwned easily while I'm trying to make my attack.
Battle 2. Fight.
That should have been a jest. That didn't hit. This is hilarious. I will go ahead. I have plenty of time, so if I end up losing this Chronicle, I will just go ahead and mercy kill this run and start again. This is pretty absurd.
Battle 3. Fight.
Most unfortunate thing is that the experience to these two doesn't matter at all. I was really hoping that I wouldn't have to use Aeneas at all in the early portion of the game. That was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that because that's going to extend the time.
Don't hold back next time.
Lance is kind of fun. It has a lot of moves similar to Keelik and Xianghua, or I always say Xianghua. Seongmina. I don't know why I've been saying Xianghua instead of Seongmina lately, because Seongmina is my favorite. I don't use her at all in this because as much as I love her, I've never been that good with her. But Lance has a lot of those moves, including the better ones, especially Keelik's slightly superior ones. This is still a really, really bad start to run. Whatever. I haven't done it in forever. Just the horrible bad luck of everybody choosing to attack the dancer right off the bat. That almost never happens. Really, it never happens. Chronicle 1. I sometimes lose to Gerardo because he's high level and can attack, so if he decides to do a couple of attacks, I'm done. But never had it happen to me before with Never had it happen to me before with against Abilia's troops. That was just pathetic. I don't know, whatever. Probably should have just opened on Abilia with just a straight spin. Considering how she acted and was completely passive, it likely would have taken her down. Of course, she may have just decided to interrupt it anyway. She was waiting for me to get close so she could hit. Whatever, we'll find out. Next Chronicle, I'm actually going to have to use other characters, but it hopefully should only be Megha. I can't guarantee that, though, can I? Not unless... I can actually. Careful work. I think I will. I'm going to go ahead and let...
Battle 1. Fight.
Slight time loss on that, but the time that I'll gain by using Megha will actually make up a pretty huge difference.
It looks like I won today, but who knows what'll happen next time.
Aeneas' level doesn't matter because once I recover him after Chronicles 17, which you do automatically, even if I want to add him back to the party, He'll jump up many levels to like level 38, I think. Somewhere in that area, mid to high 30s. So unless I level him up higher than that, which is almost impossible, even though he's with me all the way through Chronicle 12, I would have to have him kill just about everything to get into the 30s, and I mean everything. Every character, including all the ones I skipped. So in a speedrun, absolutely not going to happen. And once I get to Chronicle 7, I won't be using him anymore anyway, because I'll have Gerardo to replace him with. This is going to be the last we'll see of Reese.
Decisive battle.
Because I'll have Megha next round to replace her with. I'll have the one after that. I'll get Yuri Dice to become my 4th character, and then, as I say, replace Gerardo with an AS there. I get my 5th character.
Of course.
I'll probably have Aelion, actually, or maybe Canon.
Fight.
You should really give up.
Battle 2. Fight.
You should really give up. It looks like I got lucky.
Okay, that was a pretty good little segment. This will actually be a gold, so that'll make up a bit for Chronicle 2's issues. Alright, now we get Megha. It's going to make everything better. Actually, oh, you go 1, you go 3, and then I don't actually have to change 1. Or do any other kind of funky thing. This actually works out really well for my strat. Since Megha joins automatically as an infantry, I can have him up here, and as the only person, he will be fighting this group up here, which is perfectly fine. And then my main character down below will be the automatic fighter against that stronghold and else.
Fight.
I forgot to equip a new weapon on him, though. I can do that here, though, so not a big deal.
This really wasn't a fair
Again,
contest.
sadly, Megha's levels won't really matter that much. He'll lose them all and gain a lot more, regardless of how many I have on him, once he rejoins in Chronicle 18. But, okay, Mirasame. Perfect timing here.
Fate. Final battle. Fight.
I like the aesthetic that all of the brigands you fight pretty much are thieves.
I'm sorry, but
It's
I must
kind of
move on.
appropriate that the class is used in a very RP way, as it were, for this group of bandits that we're fighting. Storyline-wise, if you haven't seen these before or played it and don't know the story, there is on this continent 3 great nations: Grandal, Dalkia, and the Haltese Republic. Grandal Empire, Dalkia Kingdom, and the Haltese Republic. 3 different governments as well, though empires and kingdoms are essentially the same. Just names and possibly amount of territory. It's a fake continent that was created for this game world of Chronicles of the Sword, this game mode in Soulcalibur 3.
Decisive
And we are members of the Grandal military. The first couple of Chronicles, we were cadets in the academy, training alongside Abilia and fighting against, training against General Gerardo under his command and such. And now we've graduated, have our own border post, and it's immediately attacked by these brigands and bandits. But,
You should really give up. It looks like I got lucky.
there's something peculiar about these bandits, however. Mostly just their, like, presence, I guess you would say. Because of that, this is a, there's a unique victory condition attached to this map. Like a lot of tactical RPGs, each different Chronicle is a battle map, or whatever you would call it in Fire Emblem, a mission. And each one has a specific victory condition, which most of the time for this game is taking the enemy's main stronghold. However, in this mission, Chronicle, our objective is to take all of the... Stop moving around so much, sheesh. Our objective is to defeat all enemies. They want us to do that in order to guarantee that we see... I believe this is a logical conclusion I've come to, but it's set to make us understand that there are a couple of unique characters here. Not really unique. They're totally not unique, but that's kind of the point. They want us to recognize two of the characters in particular, so that it leads into the story going onwards. They don't otherwise really explain, most of the time, they don't explain why there are any special objectives outside of the normal. You usually win by taking the main enemy stronghold. You always lose if you lose your stronghold, or if all of your characters are defeated. And then, oftentimes, some of the missions have bonus objectives, and sometimes they're hinted at, but only once, I think, is it ever specifically explained why that's the requirement. That's in the case of 2 missions down the line here, actually. So we'll see that. But for now, because of the objective to kill all bandits, I have to spread my characters out, which is kind of nice because I just picked up Megha, so he does a lot to help out on the side. Whenever I have 2 characters having to be involved in the fights, I want Megha to be the other one. Okay, they were stuck together, so I was wondering where my third character went. Sometimes that happens with the graphics here. So thankfully, because we attacked this stronghold many times, your characters that are farther back or towards defense will be programmed to run back and defend the main stronghold. So I try to work around that at various times in the course of my game. So now we're going to fight the leader of the bandits and his last 2 minions, who are not dressed as bandits are. And again, this is part of the actual important storyline going into Chronicle 4 when Dalkia declares war on us. Because, as we are about to see, these bandits are called Grandal and dressed as Grandal soldiers, just like the ones we were fighting in our cadet training missions in the Academy the last couple of Chronicles. This is not laziness on the part of the developers, it's actually part of the story. The bandits attacking us, dressed as Grandal soldiers, have also been attacking, this is the border with Dalkia, and apparently they've also been attacking Dalkia, as Dalkia declares war on us and claims that we were the ones who attacked them first. This is in response to aggressions made against them by us. So, this question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, he doesn't have amnesia like a certain green-haired half-esper. Instead, it's just that he's a mysterious leader of the bandits whose identity we do not yet know.
I have absolutely no intention of dying here.
And as he says, he has no intention of dying here, so he takes off. Most questions come up. I'm probably going to be talking a lot less in my streams now, simply that I'm doing it more often. When I stream semi-infrequently, it felt okay just to go ahead and rehash everything as I always do. But now since I'm going to be doing this almost every day, I'm going to be feeling a lot more... Yeah, having Megha do that saved actually a decent little chunk of time. I definitely still have lots of time I can save because of newer strats to any percent that I can adapt and just being smarter about little things like that. Okay, Megha, unit type. Back to Bandit. Okay, 2. Slightly clumsy with the menu in there, but it's not the most terrible. Generic Grandal Soldier says, "Oh no, we're being overrun. Wait, reinforcements?" And Luna, leader of the invasion force, says, "Reinforcements? Just what I was waiting for. Maybe you guys will be more fun." Oh yeah, Luna is a big Dalkian general who is one of our primary rival in this game. We fight her 4 times, more than any other character that we have to face off against. And she has cutscenes in 3 of those battles. So no... Gerardo technically has 3 cutscenes as well, because the second time we fight him, we get cutscenes before and after the fight, but the one before is also the shortest cutscene in the game. 3 words that are 3 significant words that we've already heard a couple times before.
Final battle, fight.
But his cutscene's longest, but otherwise,
You should really give up.
Luna's the only one with 3 pre-battle cutscenes.
It looks like I got lucky.
Chester gets 1 after battle and 1 pre-battle. And then a couple of the one-shot characters get pre. Strife technically gets a pre and a post if you fight him with the main character. Okay, is she gonna run out or stay back and defend? Okay, she's coming out. She's gonna start the combat automatically as well, with 2 of my characters. That's kind of unfortunate, but oh well. Not a huge deal. I actually get to be slightly more strategic with some of my unit placements as well, just in case. Again, I really shouldn't lose my main character at any point here in this Chronicle, but I shouldn't have lost in Chronicle 2 either, so things happen.
You're certainly a handful. I shall remember your name, as you are the only one who has provided a worthy challenge.
Battle 1, fight.
Ringouts don't actually automatically win in Chronicles of the Sword.
It looks like I got lucky.
They usually win. They do half of maximum health. 50% of the maximum health and damage. So if you're at half health or less, you will die from a ring out or be defeated, whatever you want to call it. And actually, I need to go ahead and order everyone all the way through. But if they're more than that, they will survive. Getting hit by ring outs is therefore not totally devastating. It can be really nasty to lose half of your health, but for the most part, it's actually a more beneficial situation than it is detrimental. Fortify this up. We reduce the amount of time it takes to, or increase the amount of time it takes to take it out. And now Aeneas is going to be my plug. Enemies cannot move out of a stronghold if, down the direction where somebody's attacking it, and you can't either. So sometimes, in order to prevent the enemy from reaching me, if they were to run into this group that I have here attacking the stronghold before I took it, I'd have to stop and start fighting them. So, by attacking this stronghold here with 1 character, all of a sudden they can't get through to defend as like they're trying, and so my last 2 characters will survive. So, I had Aeneas go back and kept Megha with the group, just in case Mikuni falls. Mikuni should take out Arion without any problem. But, you know, I'd much rather, if she does fall, I'd much rather have Megha as the backup, because he'll be able to win easily than Aeneas, who would be slow and
Battle
unreliable.
1. Fight.
But it looks like it's over.
You should really give up. Did you enjoy my
We did indeed enjoy the dance. Spin to win for the win. Man, those 2 deaths in Chronicle 1 were so terrible. Just so the whole fighting was so bad. Well, if this ends up PBing, which is still a pretty big possibility, that means a free extra minute time save, minute and a half even. As you can see, every Chronicle otherwise has been a nice little gold. I've been doing a lot better in my control of everything. Okay, let's see. So, Aeneas, Reese, Eurydice, no, not Reese. Megha and Eurydice. Okay, so 3, everybody else at 2, and this is actually just what we want. The Megha, once again, I'm going to have doing all the extra fighting. None of my other characters are going to keep their levels at all, so I might as well, if I have to do any other fighting. It's one of the nice things for this for any percent. I could do this for SC percent as well, but it's already a little bit too long, and it'd be a little bit tougher to beat them without reliable Swordmasters to do it. And in most particular, the thing that has me hesitate to really work on that is that all the extra experience I'd be gaining would be mostly useless. I'd probably have to try and rely on my Dancer a lot more to do the defeating of those enemies. But I don't want to do that. That's very dangerous, and there are times where I won't be able to, so a lot of this experience is just going to get wasted. So I've learned about running outside of these maps for time saves, but in this case, I think it actually isn't, because when I last did this on any percent, I ran out, confronted the 3 in the middle of the bridge, then attacked the other side of the bridge. The point is to draw a unit away so I don't have to fight them. But then they ended up, I did so much damage to it because he went so early that I ended up taking it, and I had to fight that character anyway.
Battle 2.
So by waiting, I'm hoping that I won't have to deal with that again. Everything will turn out just hunky-dory. We'll see.
Final battle. Fight.
Yeah. My word. Thank goodness for all the lifesteal that weapon gives. That's the power of Murasame.
Really wasn't a fair
And also the power of
competition.
Swordmasters. I wouldn't have taken nearly that much damage if Megha was a Swordmaster. They are so much more powerful than everyone, including Samurais. But the nice thing is, the other coin of it, is that Megha actually does more damage than a Swordmaster because he's both 1 higher level and 2 a Samurai. At every level except for level 99, which is just its own unique thing. Samurai actually have more attack power than Swordmasters. It's the only stat where any character has a higher stat than a Swordmaster. At least, you know, of the characters that you can create and build. Because some of the AI characters, the enemy characters on some of these maps, they do have a unique thing of their own.
Decisive battle.
I did forget to equip my 2-handed sword on Eurydice. That's a little bit unfortunate. Not a big deal. I can actually do it again right here. I hope it won't make a difference, but there's always a chance. Duck and mid-attack. That works real well. In case you're not familiar with Soulcalibur lore, there's a bit of rock, paper, scissors in several of their different abilities. Attacks can either hit high, mid, or low, as well as a special mid and special low, which are special because they pretty much are worse. Even though special sounds better, it means that you can block them. But high, of course, you can block by standing or duck under. Mid, you can block by standing, but if you crouch guard it, you take a hit from mid. And if you're crouching, you will block low attacks, but be hit by mid, and you'll duck under high attacks. So each of them has a different stance. There's no stance you can do that will perfectly protect you from everything that the enemy does. Certain attacks which seem like they're mid but are instead special mid are mostly good just as a distraction to people who don't know better, and sometimes the AI does fall into that category. You can block them while crouching, but because they... No, actually, I definitely want Mikuni to be one. Again, I want, since Mikuni's the only one who's experienced stays, I want her to get as much of the experience as possible, even more than I would in a normal any percent. Sometimes I don't mind in any percent having some of these other characters do a couple of the fights in the field, if they can, because it just, you know, good for them to get that extra experience, but...
Battle, fight.
Here, the only people I want fighting, if at all possible, are Megha
It was
and
a decent match.
Mikuni. Since Mikuni is her name, I'll just call her Mikuni. Okay, now 150, which is let's see, 30 strikes, 12. Yeah, this should go down first. Good. That should work out. So there'll only be a total of 4 guys I won't be fighting. 2 Soulcalibur characters who wouldn't care and they're out of the way. 1 person I pulled away there, and Rowan, who I trapped behind here. The boss, at least. So, but these 4, pretty much you always have to fight. I haven't figured out a way in this Chronicle to evade them. If I could, that would make this actually a whole lot easier, better of a fight. Okay, 4 more enemies, a minute and a half. 2 minutes, really, for to at least improve. I don't know if I'll get another gold, but it should be pretty close, actually. Megha took a couple of hits, which slowed that down, so I doubt I'll gold, but Mikuni as well.
Battle 1, fight.
You should really give up.
Kunai, the fake Taki style, is a decent style. I really like it, but it isn't the best for...
Fight.
The AI is not the best with it. They're a lot better with things like two-handed swords. One of the reasons why Elua is such a non-threatening character, which is nice because she's got one of the worst of the...
Fight.
I'm sorry.
Well, 3 of them can be bad in the Chronicle 11. 3 of the Cluster Pendo bases. Whirlwind being pretty nasty.
Battle 4, fight.
You should really give up. It looks like I got lucky.
Very, very nice. Not quite going to gold, I don't think. And the earlier fights went a little bit too badly, but this is going to be really close and save me another 20 seconds. Death animation, so long. Not quite 20 seconds. Forget how long it takes to do all those death animations, mostly. Still was a 10-second, close to 10-second improvement. Not bad. Avilia's joined us as well. We mostly ignore her. Okay, let's go ahead and equip Yuri Dice with a Londite. Or maybe, actually, it'd be better to go ahead and equip her with Soul Edge, because it's actually more powerful. Okay, Aeneas, Yuri Dice, and those are the things we want. Everybody at 3. Doesn't really matter. But just, again, for safety. Yuri Dice is my next preferred one after Megha. She's going to have, I think she's a pirate, which actually is really good stats. And the Iron Sword is actually a good style for beating the enemy as well. Pretty simple and reliable. A couple of decent attacks, but one in particular that is, oh, once again, I shouldn't have given all those commands yet. I needed to wait. Oh well. So with the power of Soul Edge, though, she will be able to restore a lot of health when she deals hits. If she will lose health over time, which is slightly troublesome, but usually I go with the Londite because it's a better looking sword, and just aesthetically, RPG-wise, you know, role-playing-wise, I don't like to be wielding Soul Edge because it's the evil sword. But quite honestly, speedrun-wise especially, it's going to be a better weapon. And here's a... Oh my word, are you kidding? Again, any character at any time can just suddenly decide that they are the hero and mess up everything. This is not going to gain me much, if any, time because of that. I have a very good chance of dying now to one of the other characters, especially in the final one, which isn't as bad, but even so. Yuri Dice will probably go next, or maybe even Aeneas because he's lowest level. They seem to do it level-based more than anything. Luckily, only those two need to be reordered, so it's not a huge deal. Nobody else really has much interest in this game, but this would be a fantastic game to see tazzed. See what certain character movement will manipulate, just the exact moments where you want to give orders in order to avoid the battles that I talk about and stuff. That should not have happened. It's a straightforward thrust, and I used Great Wall, which shifted me to the side, and it still hit. That should not have happened. Oh, God. There's another just because of certain... Oh, Megha, thank goodness. I am so glad they chose Megha. Sometimes I think I know that the order that they're going to choose the characters, and then weird stuff happens, and I don't. But whatever.
This really wasn't a
Really
fair
wasn't.
contest.
Just the AI deciding to be heroic and that they were going to do awesome things brought my health too low, and twice in a row a generic character and then a named character is enough to kill me. I love this game, but moments like this are so frustrating, especially since it's so early on. Of course, I've been dealing with that a lot in my other previous runs too, but this feels even worse. It's been quite a while since I've had a run go perfectly fine up in the initial, you know, for the first few Chronicles and such, and it's just getting frustrating. Oh well, I'll have plenty of opportunities to finally get one in the coming months, as I run this a whole lot. Possibly twice a day in times coming forward. I need to create a... for moments like that, I think I need to create a... Yeah. Definitely, I'll start doing longer streams, daily long streams, and maybe if I take a break for lunch between two big runs of this, I need to have a... make myself a card.
Fight. Ring out.
Level 1 Aeneas.
Fight.
Ah, got her that time. Whoops. Jeez. Yeah. I got a little bit enthusiastic there. It didn't work the second time. Oh well.
Battle 2. Fight.
I'll take you on anytime you want.
Not gonna bother improving this one. Both Aeneas and Mikuni can recover at that one. Probably should have gone ahead and done that one. I was hoping she'd regenerate before they took that, but not the case. So yeah, this is going to end up losing me probably another minute and a half. I say it's 30 seconds for a pre-final battle loss, but it's probably closer to 45. At least the defeats were relatively quick, and Megha made most of the succeeding fights relatively quick. I don't know if he'll even reach in time to contribute any hits, so that might have been pointless, but... like, one. Oh well.
Decisive battle.
Still need to go back and correct that too. I also need to upload my new run. One of the things I discovered last night was that whenever I did this Chronicle, or this SC percent run that gave me a 345, I didn't record that. I didn't keep the recording anywhere. I have no idea when I did that or where it is now. There's no record of it, so it's kind of good that I, for that reason, that I got a PB, because it's a real PB now that I'll be able to save and record, and I need to do that as soon as possible. But unfortunately, that also means that the super perfect Chronicle 9 that I pulled off during that is nowhere in sight. That's what gets me a little bit frustrated.
Battle 2. Fight.
Darn it. That attack should not be hitting mid. It looks like a high attack. And now Hildo, who, as a sickle sword user, wave sword user, usually is pretty easy, but if she ever decides to be nasty, she will and just kill me. Luckily, it's decided to, after one attack, okay, I'm not going to lose that much more time.
It looks like I got lucky.
Minute and a half out of this, I would have gotten really close to a gold. Wonder if I died in my previous runs too in this category, and that's why. Whatever. Alright, now General Gerardo shows up, so we're going to use him instead of Aeneas. Oh, he is the last guy in line. I'd forgotten about that. Yuri Dice shows up later, but for some reason Megha's always like at the bottom, which is convenient for me, actually. I think for my fifth person, I'll go ahead and have Aelion join, because she will join by that point, and Aelion will be significantly useful for battles against people like AG. She won't be there for the Gerardo fight, though. That's unfortunate. I don't have anyone reliable for Gerardo. That's going to be such a terrible, terrible battle. It always is. It might be the main reason for my loss, too. Main reason for my time loss versus normal any percent. Luckily, I have lots of time to save on this run. I could get back into the green if this goes really well. If. Big if. Two deaths already in before Chronicles 7. Normally, on a good run, this is where I expect to get my first death, is this one right here, on ice. Where, not even expect really, but where it's like, okay, well, we're on ice, that can happen. None of the times before that should anything happen to kill me, but twice already. So painful. Whatever. Again, free time saves for next time if this ends up PBing, which is still very possible if the other ones go better. Okay, Mikuni forward. And now everybody else all the way. Only for complete... I always struggle with the word to use for the segments of battles when you have several interconnected battles. But the basic way, since, you know, they call this final battle, Battle 1. And again, that was way more damage than I would have liked to have taken. She never uses those attacks, but she decided to do some funky stuff this time and inflict some damage on me. But as they call that final battle, the battles in this game are each individual fight between two swordsmen, warriors, whatever you want to call them, units. And the final... And so, the whole group of connected battles is an encounter. I guess encounter is what they call it. So I have 4 total encounters in this Chronicle is all it is. And a total of 6 battles, which is pretty nice. It's one of the nicer scenarios because of that. I can avoid so many of the fights. Now, to make sure that I'm totally safe, I want to go ahead and fortify up this one. As well as give a recovery place in case one of my other characters falls. Mikuni, in other words. Gerardo, level 15, 323 hit points. Mikuni barely has more hit points than Megha, and she's 5 levels lower. Samurai are not very high on hit points. The rest of their stats are actually pretty good. Attack is super good. Defense is better than I give it credit for a lot of times, and agility is really good as well. Their hit points are kind of low. They're like enhanced assassins, but the defense, their hit points are a lot better than assassins. Their defense is a heck of a lot better. So,
one, fight.
Thank you, Halfas, for being nice. Last Chronicle, for the first time like ever, something that never happened before, I had multiple times where characters were getting up a little bit quicker than they should have been, so and hitting me before my second combo increased. Okay, nice. Finally, something going right.
It was a decent match.
Splits are kind of boring, but definitely just super realistic to do each Chronicle as a split, especially since that's where I have the best time frame to make a real quick distraction between the loading screens between Chronicles. Okay, final Haltese battle against Mooncalf, and that's it for this Chronicle. And a lot of time saved. Very good chance of getting back in the green here, or very close to it. A minute left to do this battle, and then the follow-up. It will only be one battle, so it's very possible. I used to do all 3 of the buildings, but then I figured out the best way was the middle one. Saves the most time, is the safest. I think that it really doesn't matter. If I lose a character to the ice, they won't recover in time to get there anyway, so I guess it really doesn't matter in that sense.
Now, battle 1, fight.
Come on. Oh, well, so much for the 2-minute time save. Again, she just decided to be too aggressive. I probably should have done, since I was in close, I should have kept her at bay first with some quick A strings.
Battle 2. Fight. Fight.
Shoulder charge is perfectly fine to be used with glue, though. Normally, glue doesn't bother me a whole lot.
Careful from now on.
But yeah, I would have not gotten that if... I would be in green right now if she hadn't killed Mikuni. Alright, time to use this strategy here. Okay, so now Miletta has taken out Haltis, and we, out of the goodness of our hearts, are deciding to help them. Oh, that worked better. Okay, so that gets rid of 3 of them, yes, doing it this way. Essentially gets rid of 3 of them. Which saves time over starting very close. We'll have to fight a total of 3 encounters. And just 5 battles. That's going to be a really big time save. Oops. Uh-oh. Thought I need to, What are you doing, Mikuni? Okay. Not quite as bad as I thought. It's nice that she went into the very rear portion of this.
Battle 1. Fight.
You should really give up.
Battle 2. Fight.
You should really give up.
Okay, okay. This will work out splendidly.
Battle 3. Fight.
You should really give up. Did you enjoy my dance?
Well enjoyed. Still made up a minute and a half last Chronicle, even with that final death to Mooncalf. And largely that final death to Mooncalf came because of just that Katana Shuriken character earlier doing that. Poor Laraje. But your sacrifice was not in vain. It helps us get through this quicker. Aelion as well. Okay, looks like I'm going to get the dialogue after this battle right here.
Decisive
Two
battle.
more fights, Mooncalf and Heil. Mooncalf is on one today, but that doesn't always transfer from battle to battle. But a lot of people have been on one. 3 deaths already in Chronicles 8.
Battle 1. Fight.
You can't get away.
That was my mess up, hitting R1 before L1. Luckily, it wasn't a very high damage attack, and I follow up with a pretty quick kill.
I'm sorry, but I must move on.
On a really good Chronicle, I won't suffer a death until about, really, Chronicle 11. Because there's no need to sacrifice myself. I'm not likely to get in. It's almost impossible to defeat AG without a death, and that won't even be the Dancer, so... It's theoretical I could go without a death to my Dancer. Very difficult. Oh yeah, so easy. .601. Yep, definitely can bolt this one too.
Decisive battle.
I lost a minute there, almost totally recovered. Then lost another minute and a half. So 2.5 minutes. I can cut off from this further really easily. Get a sub-hour Chronicle 8 is more than possible, which will be really solid. Yay! I hit him with ring out. That's rare against Heil. He usually resists ring out.
Must move on.
That's a very awesome time save. This is going to be a good gold. Little backstory revealed there. The way Reese is talking, she reveals that she's an orphan. Rather unusual thing. Almost got a sub-hour Chronicle 8. Huge improvement over what I had before, definitely. Okay, Chronicle 9. This is going to be slightly trickier because I don't want, too many of my other Steven to fight. Okay, I have to go down to Aelion. Unit type, Bandit, give her a Chain of Hades. Is a good weapon at least. Gerardo, Yuri Dice, Megha, Aelion. Okay, I want Megha at 5, everybody else at 2. And where I go from here is going to be the interesting subplot, though. I have to defeat all enemies, so once again, I have to spread my characters out.
Fate. Final battle. Fight.
You should really give up. It looks like I won today, but who knows what'll happen next time.
Alright. Normally I'd leave a Swordmaster here. I could manipulate things a little bit more, spread my characters out, and be fine about it. But once again, I want most of my experience to go to Mikuni, because she's the only one who will get hit. It is kind of nice that my other characters will join at any level, but still, with experience being as valuable as it is, and especially with my characters not being as strong, so their level matters more, Mikuni getting as much as possible is a very, very important. The problem with Mikuni attacking this many characters, though, is that she is going to...
Battle 3, fight!
That's... Okay. That's that bad.
Battle 4, fight!
You should really give up.
Final battle, fight!
I made the right choice there. Kind of thinking that the spin would be better for most of these characters, but Loopy doing a lot of thrust forward, the sidestepping Great Wall would be a better idea, and it really paid out for me there. Okay, so that makes up for the experience I lost by dying when I did those other periods. Those 5 guys are worth a lot of experience. So Mikuni's on a fast track of EXP now. Which she always was, since she does most of the fighting anyway, but that's definitely a big help.
Decisive battle.
And yeah, this is kind of perfectly what I want. This is really the most consistent strat overall.
Battle 1, fight!
Annoying attack because some of the mid attacks don't hit the ground. It's a little bit weird of like that. And that one should. It really looks like it should, but for whatever reason it always misses. Generic characters die so quickly, though, I shouldn't be worrying about trying to wring them out. The named characters will be good to try and push them towards the end, but these generic ones just die. Even the knight dies that fast. Always the biggest choice I have when using the katana is try and figure out whether it'd be faster to knock them to a side and try and wring them out, or just do the damage to them. And actually, Yakumo, being a monk, dies as easily as the generic, so, well, whatever. That was still really fast. He's a monk. Monks don't have any defense. And again, level 12 Samurai is better than what I'd have on any other character at this point, especially since usually I have my 5th character here, specifically to give them a little bit more experience. Because they haven't fought yet. My 5th character gets here for the first time, so starting them at 5, which is their default, is nice because I get a little bit of free experience that I can do here from these 5 characters to boost them up several levels. But I have a higher level Samurai than a level 1 Swordmaster, so all those characters go down really fast. Okay, now this character's coming back here, and... having a character there prevents another one from coming. It's a weird thing, but this does seem to work out best of any of my strats. I've seen other things happen and tried to optimize it by having more people involved, but this really is just the best one. Best way overall. Okay. Fighting all four at once in the final attack is what's going to make this go quickest. So yeah, this is really close to the super good time I had as well. So this has to be the best strat. I've tried other things and they just don't work consistently. But I'm pretty confident in this now after seeing this and the time I'm at.
I'm sorry. You should really give up.
The good news is that because of this, Mikuni is going to be a powerhouse in the later game with all these extra levels. Normally my main character isn't involved, especially in the fights in this map. I don't mind spreading my guys out more, spreading out the experience once again. Since Mikuni is the only one who gets to keep the experience, I'm very satisfied with this whole idea of letting her do most of the fighting here. Chronicle 10 is going to be a similar story. She's going to do all the fighting, which normally I wouldn't mind spreading around just a little bit. This is perfect, 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 perfect. Perfect indeed. She got her health back.
It was a decent
Okay.
match.
This is officially the strat. As weird as it seems, this is the strat. It does the most to not mess up the enemy AI. Having one character go down that path and take that stronghold, then everybody else focus up north there and then come down. Draws in the most, keeps them down there in the south, doesn't have them running around. Perfect. Okay, now the fun one. Chronicle 10 I really like, especially when especially on non-SC. Fighting Sung Mina, my favorite character in waifu, is not very fun when she's on ice and doing stuff, but when I get to ignore her, the rest of this is pretty darn simple. We will see if I get lucky. Eventually, I need to figure out what little thing I did that pulls Anoretta out of that stronghold. For now, it's pretty much RNG. It isn't really, but just based on me not being able to perfectly mimic my movements, I don't know what happens. Because I want to not fight these two if I can avoid it. It just, saves time. But on the worst days, both will run back to defend. And on the best days, both of which are pretty rare, both will run forward. But it's almost always Oryx going forward, Anoretta going back to defend. And that's just the way it goes. Oryx is going to defend as well. Geez, she did not go forward. Why? And now Anoretta's going to run back to defend. Yep, so I'm going to have to fight all four. That's already not fun. At least I have 2 minutes to save on this Chronicle. Whatever, and it's going to be more experience for Mikuni, so there's a silver lining. Defeating everybody on this map except for Sung Mina. Whatever.
A pathetic cur like you dares to take on this country, this king?
Battle 1.
Yes.
Fight.
Should be Oryx next, and then Anaretta, I think. They don't fall back, both of them, enough to really ensure that, but
Battle 2.
I guessed correctly.
You should really give up.
Oh, Heil before Anaretta. That's unusual. Again, sometimes I think I understand the order they choose, sometimes I don't. The only thing I know for certain is that anybody who gives a pre-battle cutscene is the first one to fight. And that won't always be the same person if you end up dying and have to come back later. So, you know, Demuth always has that cutscene, so he's the first one we fight. Chester later on, though he's going to be alone in his stronghold. Abelia in Chronicle 18 is another one where it makes a difference. Abelia and Gerardo in their first two strongholds, because they always have defenders, the way I do speedrun.
Did you enjoy my dance?
Only level 28? Well, it's not over. Not by a long shot. Next Chronicle is going to be the fun one. Lag from so many characters dying in flames and things. Now we wait for these guys all to show up. Okay, should be all 5. If not, I'll wait for the other 4. It'll be less time than wait for the other 3 and do 4 at a time. It'll be less time than killing one and then running out to meet them. Otherwise, once this battle is over, if it's all 5, I'll run out to meet them. Those 3, because it'll be faster. Okay, all 5. That's what I thought.
Fight.
Stay down.
Panas. Offense down is working for me there, so you didn't totally destroy me.
Really give up.
Otherwise, those were a couple of pretty big hits from a katana samurai high
Battle
attack
2.
power.
Fight.
It almost seems to be working slightly in their favor. I don't think I'm doing as much damage as I should, although they are higher level characters, so they do have better defenses, but...
Battle 3. Fight.
Darn it! Stop it! This is bad. Maybe I'll wait for the other 3 after all. It's better at this point than dying, so I'll gain some more health back. Running out definitely saves some time, but I have some time to save on this Chronicle anyway, so I can save that for hopefully a better one next time.
Fight.
Again, I could try to use some of my other characters instead, but I really don't want to. I want Mikuni to have the experience. That'll save time later on as well.
Fight.
Ah, so bad.
You should really give up. Did you enjoy my dance?
Well, up to 31. Well, I should be close to 100 hit points by the time they start attacking. Yep. I daren't afford any more time. This is a nice mixture between time and safety, waiting for them to show up. It would have been...
Battle 1. Fight!
If I can manage to avoid any hits this time around, I'll actually regenerate enough health to be quite a bit safe.
Battle 2. Fight!
Good move, good move.
You should really give up.
Final battle. Fight!
Thank you for finally being cooperative. Sort of cooperative. Okay, double cooperative. Then she didn't get up, which spoiled the combo, but luckily she didn't do anything with the time she had.
Looks like I won today, but who knows what'll happen next time.
Alrighty, now I feel quite a bit better. Not going to quite gold this with those fights and how badly they went, and especially having to fight Oryx as well. But it does mean that I'm in really good shape. Okay, go to Kirkus. Anybody else? Through the northern. All the way up to 190 from those 3 battles. It's not as good as Life Drain, but having that Sword's life up for a lot of extended fights like this is helpful. Especially when they have a lot of hit points for me to chunk through.
Final battle. Fight!
Okay, now just Chester, and that'll be a pretty easy fight.
But I must move on.
3 minutes almost? Yeah, it should be a lot less than that, so I should definitely save a little bit more time here. If I can get somewhere close to real any percent, that'll make this a really fun category. And actually, instead of... once I get to... I'll probably grind any percent at that point down to real close to a 3 minute. I might be able to get... or 3 hour. I might be able to get a sub 3 hour, at which point I'll probably mostly retire it. And then work on getting this one down to be a lot closer to that, 310, 305. And it'll be a... and then I can offer either any percent MCO, where I use only one character, and therefore that's interesting, or SC percent, where I create all the characters, and I have some Swordmasters to make everything easy, but I'm fighting enough extra battles and stuff that it's a little bit more of an interesting encounter. And then I can start working on fresh file battles as well. I think now that I can get to a close to a sub 340 with SC percent, which again would be a really fantastic time, but I'll probably continue working on it because it's a really fun one to do. If I can get it down to that far, I can put my estimate under 4 hours for it, even when I offer it to other marathons.
Surprised? Well, it's just as you see. I must protect this country. I had this brilliant plan of pitting Grandal and Dalkia against one another, and then rise to power during the resulting chaos. But because of your unexpected meddling, my plan is in ruins. You will pay dearly for this.
Battle 1. Fight!
Easy fight.
Don't give up. I'm sorry, but I must
Yeah, if those
move
battles
on.
go better and I don't fight Oryx, and especially if I don't fight Anoretta, I can possibly get a gold on this. It's kind of hard, but that is a possibility. Because again, I have to somehow figure out how I get Oryx to not fight, which is rough. Well, the 12-minute is really, really, really good, and possibly close to my best ever. I ought to look at my original MCO run and see if that happened luckily and what I did. I think I actually have an idea for the next time I run this, if I can remember it. Okay, now the real fun one. Okay, Gerardo, Aeneas, not Aeneas, Eurydice, Megha, Aelion. Have to be slightly more careful with those too. 9:43 was my best one at this, which is like more than a minute off of my thing. None of my characters are that good at taking out AG this. Very clumsy menuing there too, but that's okay. If it goes to Aelion, that might make it a bit better. Although she won't be the last one. She won't be the first one, unfortunately. She will always be... She's always last, so I can't have her automatically go first anyway without having everybody else stand aside, and that is not safe or reliable at all. But I'm hoping that since she's at bottom, usually it rolls around to the bottom. Sometimes people being hurt can mess with that. But usually it rolls around from whoever goes first to the top. If they lose, then it chooses the person on the bottom next. So if that's the case here, Aelion should go right after whoever is the first victim, which is going to be Gerardo, actually. Having Gerardo is going to add a tiny bit of dialogue to this, which that won't make a huge difference, but is the thing. I guess I could use Canon instead. She might actually be better than Gerardo, more useful. But I've used him all this time anyway, and then I don't have to get another character equipped and switch to a bandit, which would also take time. So, pick your poison, as it were. Canon will be close to level 15 herself, which would theoretically make her better than some of these characters. Eurydice, of course, has not ended up fighting at all, which I'm not surprised by, but something I have to watch out for. Chronicle 12, there's a better chance of something going down. You'll find out. Chronicle 12 is going to be slightly dangerous and where I'm going to have to master the run, because I am definitely going to want my main character back for that, again, for all that experience. But it is very dangerous to have my main character in that position. I could just say, to heck with it, and have Megha do it, I guess, but...
I'm sorry, but I must move on.
Another thing I guess I could be considering is a, although it doesn't, make the thing better, but doing a slight delay before I start my next spin could help if they are going to wait on the ground, but I never know if they're going to do that. Then if they get up really fast, they'll have time to hit me. Probably the people getting up and attacking me before has never happened before, simply because I'm getting older, my reflexes aren't getting as good, like they were ever any good, and so I'm not getting off the... And that was just it. I was delaying a little bit more than I usually would to get off my lawn. Get off my
Decisive battle.
I should have kept it on her. That was a slight mess up there. But I'm just being slightly slower in getting off the follow-up
Battle
spin.
1. Fight.
Because I'm late getting off the follow-up spin,
I'm sorry, but
they're able to get up fast enough to hit me. That happened, as I said, a couple of times last run. Fortunate. But I'm still improving the time, so... Alright, now I need to pull back Mikami right before this stronghold is taken. Excellent timing. I'm really hoping. Have our two stick figures fighting again. I really do like this loading screen. I'm glad at least that this loading screen is entertaining. You get to see the banners, the full map, and then showing the location of the battle by having those two stick figures go at each other in that way. Just hilarious.
1. Fight. 3, 2,
That's the one I want.
3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
This is actually working out well.
3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, not working out as well anymore. That was pretty good for one character though, and if it's Aelion next, this should be in the bag. Nope. Yuri dies, of course, because she's lowest level. And she's going to die. She is not good for this fight. No, that last hit was nice. Well, whoever goes next is going to finish her. Megha. Of course, they're doing Aelion last because she's the highest level. Again, sometimes it seems to go from the bottom, sometimes it's level-based.
Be careful from now on.
Well, 2 deaths, which is not super unusual. I think I'm still going to save some time. It's not great, but I should have done some more basic attacks that came out a little bit faster. Hard with the two-handed sword, but... Two more minutes. Since I have to recover these two, it'll be close. Shortcut scene. I might get a small gold. I can save more time here if I can manage to only lose one character. Gerardo was doing really well, but then Yuri dice at level 8. Pyro was just unable to do it. Oh, they're barely getting there in time. Maybe it wasn't worth it even with 2.
Decisive battle.
Just should have left them, I guess. I thought that 2 would... Well, they do reach in time to help out, which is sort of important, I guess, but not really, because I don't care about either of them. In fact, it would have saved a little bit of time since Gerardo died first. He wouldn't be involved in the conversation with Luna again. He asks her if she knows someone named Mooncalf.
So
this
you
is where the it is hinted at us
This
that,
time,
like
it will
Realm,
not
the
be like our
Shadow,
previous encounters. See if you can defeat
Moon is the daughter of Mooncalf.
this sword.
Battle.
Along with Mooncalf's dying words calling Moon a moon. Really easy fight, so yep, gonna save a tiny bit of time. Like 10 seconds or so.
Today, but who knows what'll happen next time?
This pace, I should be at sub 2 hour 13. Very nice. Four-second gold, yep. Okay, hope that I don't die here. That's all I can do. Alright, you stay at 1. Let's see, let's go Megha at 1. Anybody else at 4. Again, the behavior of the units in this map are interesting to say the least. Most of them are charging towards the end. Some of them will instead move over to battle a character right here. Some of them will... See, there we are right there. Couple right there now. Okay, that's probably good. Unfortunately, I'm going to have a couple of extra encounters here because they didn't quite make it in time.
Battle 1. Fight. Fight.
And all the experience on everyone but the main character is wasted, but the main character is going to be doing most of the fighting down there anyway.
Final battle.
Jury is a cool character. I like her runs well there. I like the top knot, the armored thing, the semi-dress, which interferes, but it's not, at least not... It's a style thing, not a provocative, what do I want to call it? Just fan service. She's still quite well dressed. The color scheme is pretty nice. I like that breastplate. It's a cool breastplate. Yuri Dice as well. She's very similar. Her whole outfit is quite appealing. Now we're gonna have this battle here, and then we have to battle him next there, which is annoying, but whatever. At least I'll be able to choose Megha with that, so the battle will go faster. So in that case, I'm not losing that much time.
Battle 1. Fight.
Ready. Ready. It's over. Ready. It's over. Do not underestimate the honor of a knight.
Nice, Gerardo. The one victory you're going to have in the entire game, and you spout off the awesome knight line. I appreciate that. I don't know how you're going to underestimate the honor of a knight. You would think it would be like their power or something, you know, or do not spit upon the honor of a knight, maybe, but they combined like two things into one. Do not underestimate my power and do not besmirch my honor. But, you know, whatever.
Final battle.
Circus! Got him. Did a lot of damage, but recovered it all.
Don't hold back next time.
Gets Megha up to level 18. Okay, these last two knights arrive, and then I'll be able to fight these, and if I end up losing this fight, that's going to be it for this Chronicle, and I'll have to start all over, and this run will officially be dead. So let's hope that I don't lose. This is definitely the most dangerous part, and if I were doing this in a marathon, I think that I'd go ahead and do the safer route and have another character here, even if the experience, as I constantly say, is wasted. I mean, I ended up fighting 4 really up there. Megha ended up fighting 3 on his own, so it's not that much of a difference in the amount of XP, I guess, compared to these 5.
Battle 1. Fight.
Off to a good start.
You should really give up.
Dagger's easy, though. Sometimes they can be nasty. When he decides to do a little bit of damage, that makes the rest of it dangerous.
Battle 2. Fight.
Very, very good start.
You should really...
Battle 3. Fight.
Dagger, super easy. Okay, I feel pretty safe now. Usually when I died before as well, I was fighting like 7 of the people, so a couple more of them would escape from the castle and
Battle
reach.
4. Fight.
He's definitely one of the more dangerous, but fighting him at full health makes it a little bit better. He started out with not a very good attack. A bit defensive, more than I like, but at least I didn't suffer. Indeed, spin to win. That is the name of this game.
Final battle. Fight.
And Min Leon is only dangerous when I'm already weak. Voila. Okay. 3 more encounters, 4 more battles. That's all I've got
I'm
left.
sorry, but I must move on.
And 8 minutes to get it all done is plenty of time. I'll definitely save a little bit more on this Chronicle as well. Four battles, 3 encounters, 2 strongholds. Beginning will barely reach in time. The others are going to be sitting around twiddling their thumbs for quite a bit, but once again, it'll be worth it to just give her the experience, even though I'll lose a small amount of time otherwise. And just in case Gerardo needs it, it's only a small amount of time though, so not to worry.
Fate. Final battle. Fight.
How rude.
You should really give up.
Sometimes I wonder if she's talking to the enemy or about herself using this move, though. Considering how abusive it is, spin to win is a very, very rude move. Almost already level 40. Giving all that extra experience really does make a pretty big difference, having her take so many of those other battles I normally give to other characters. Starting next Chronicle, though, the levels will matter, so it's not as bad a thing to be giving that experience to others. The only problem is I'm going to be inundated with characters who are nigh useless.
Battle 1. Fight. Fight. Knockout.
That attack comes out fast. I ought to use it a lot more, charging forward A. I just get caught up so much in using just a couple and focusing on them, I sometimes forget that there are other ones. Jeez. Rowan was very, very rude, but now he's dead. Although he sloughed my combo twice by remaining on the ground, but even so took care of him. So, after beating Aurelia, I'll be level 40 going into Chronicle 13. That feels really good. Something I didn't really think about much the first couple times I ran this category was that I should really be trying my hardest to give the experience to everybody else rather than my main character. Or to my main character rather than everybody else. The opposite of that. Simply because everyone else is not going to get the experience. Not going to be able to keep it. I just figured that most of the fights are done by her anyway, so it really doesn't matter, but it does make a much bigger deal when I know that level 16 Gerardo, 8 Eurydice, 18 Megha, 17 Aeolion, they're all going to be gone. I am going to get Aeolion and Megha back, only those two of this group, but they're going to be much higher level regardless of how I leveled them here, so... New Game Plus MCO would be interesting, because then it actually would matter. Although in that case, I'd probably be leveling them up to 99 anyway. That's the little bit of a problem with the true New Game Plus, is that carrying on characters from before, is that the only reasonable way to do it, to ensure that you get the fastest time, is to spend the time leveling your characters to 99.
So, you've come. Worthless servant of strife, you shall pay with your blood.
For daring to defy me!
Battle 1. Fight.
And Aurelia, weakest boss in the game, pretty much. Super duper easy.
It looks like I got
Wow,
lucky.
this will be actually a gold even. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Impossible! I cannot lose. So, Dalkia is conquered. We have now conquered all the other nations on this continent, and only the Grandal Empire reigns. So, who could our next opponent be? Demons? Ha, what do you think this is? An RPG? It's General Gerardo, who raises up a rebellion. Okay, now I have to change all these units. I also need to equip them with stuff. She is not going to be used this time around, but I will need to do it on her. Tongue of Tonunaf is good. Whip. Ashofan is... Whip. Shotenso is at least a decent one. So... super basic in this one here on any percent. On SC percent, I have to go take care of. This is one of the worst ones, simply because it's so out of the way. Keelik and Changhua way down here, and then I have to bring all my characters all the way back. Such a pain. Maxi up there is just a slight detour and not a big deal at all. Here I get to focus all 4 characters straight down the middle, though. And the only complication, there's a very slight complication. One of the most precise things I have to do is get my character out in time to... Yeah, I don't really need to fortify that up. All I need to do is make it through there.
Now, battle 1, fight!
Whatever, Dancer. I'm higher level than you and with a much better weapon. This is a joke.
You should really give up.
Not often that I am higher level than him, but again, just very, very glad that I spent all that time in the earlier Chronicles focusing so much experience into Mikuni. If I hadn't suffered those 3 deaths on those characters and got the experience for them instead, I'd probably be close to 42. And it wasn't a whole lot, especially since it was early, but very early on a couple of them, but
It looks like I won today, but who knows what'll happen
that gets
next
me up to
time.
42 though, wow. I wonder if I'll probably be in the mid-50s by the time this finishes, maybe close to, again, now I don't have to worry quite as much about always giving the battles to Mikuni for experience, but I only have 2 reliable fighters that I feel I can, 2 fighters that I feel I can rely on now anyway, Mikuni and Tina, so Yuilin and Luca are the absolute last case scenario of who I want to be giving the battles to, because they're not good. Luca is probably my 3rd choice simply because I can spam the bombs, but they are slow. So the battles are not going to go very well. His weapon's also a lot better than Yuilin's.
Decisive battle.
But I'll be forced to use all 5 of these in the battle against Gerardo, and that's not going to be fun.
Battle 1, fight!
And actually, that strat that I was thinking of, do I want to use it? I'll get Aeon back from it. So actually, I will have 5. So yes, it's okay for me to use that strat. Alright. I'm okay. It's something I've never had to think about before. Okay, this person can try and take this Citadel, it doesn't really matter. Mikuni is taking a lot of damage, but now can she defeat these 3 horsemen? And then only 1 more battle, 2 more strongholds. I wonder if I should have fortified that up. I think I'll be okay, though.
Battle 1, fight!
Start.
You should really give up.
Battle 2, fight!
Always slightly worried about the Chinese sword. They're always a high damage class, either pirate or assassin, which is even worse. And they're very good at using attacks that hit mid and low and damage me when I try to make my
Final
that.
battle, fight!
You should
Okay.
really give up.
I'll be fine now. I may die
Sorry,
to
but I must move on.
Brynhild. It's definitely a possibility. Brynhild is annoying with Separate and a big lance. That means that my combos are really hard to get off, but she's not otherwise particularly dangerous. And if I die on the very last, then I'll lose a little bit of time, but I should be able to finish it with the others. Oh god, with these guys. Ugh, well, we will see. Now we're about to see also if I made a mistake in not fortifying that stronghold. Looks like it's going to take a while to get through, so I'm probably fine. Only one person hitting it, but doing what I did at least guarantees one less battle. Did I do it right? 350, I believe? Yeah, 20 per hit versus 4 per hit. I'm fine, even starting late. Let's see what it's at when it gets to 150. Yep, I'm perfectly fine. 3 minutes almost. Yeah, I should make up a bit of time here too. I'm also way so nicely ahead now, which is surprising since I had 2 minutes of back time before. Lost a minute on the first Chronicle, a minute and a half because of that. Stupid people attacking me. Lost another minute in Chronicle 6 for the same reason. Okay, Brunhild.
Decisive battle.
Let's see how nice you are today. Far more than any other fight, or most other fights, this is a huge amount of RNG, just depending on if Brunhild decides to be nice to me or not.
Fight.
That was good. Not nice. 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 Not nice. But I knew that would finish her, so not bad, not bad. Yep. Going to get another small gold here.
But who knows what'll happen next time?
Pretty good. It's amazing how much things have calmed down after the early game was just so horrific. Again, that means that it's 2 minutes of pretty easy time save, provided that I just avoid them being utterly crazy at first. Definitely so. Libra of Souls was a lot better than anything they gave us in 4 and 5. It was a pretty neat mode, but just still not quite as good as Chronicles of the Sword. Chronicles of the Sword is one of my favorite things to play ever. I don't want her, though. Alright, now this is the fun mission, where things look really scary. Yeah. I like the fact that everyone does have their own story, but it'd be neat if there was an overarching way to see all the bits and pieces together. The regular story mode just didn't do quite enough. Following largely Keelik, then Xianghua, then Maxi, bit in pieces, not revealing enough. Better than 5 story mode. Oh yes, that's the one that's really bad. The worst part of all is that 5 introduced a whole bunch of these characters, you know, that were related to the ones before, but in some ways were just replacements. They felt even more like just bad replacements when they didn't factor into that main story at all.
Now, battle 1. Fight.
I would not be surprised. There was a bit of a backlash.
You should really give up.
Namco's internal things regarding Soulcalibur were starting to really wane around the time of 5 anyway, and they didn't even want to do a 6. The producer had to beg and plead them to give him a chance to put 6 out, and they finally allowed it, and thank goodness, because 6 is pretty good. But 5 was a large portion of that, so I wouldn't be surprised at all to hear that 5 started out having those kinds of troubles. Yeah, she is taking the hits, but that's okay. Yep. Well, they've done a good job so far. They not only gave us everything in the first DLC pack, the first DLC season, all 4 of those characters and all the bonus stuff, and they've already, greenlit the second pass, have confirmed that Haomaru from Samurai Showdown is going to be a guest character, and that possibly might be the best guest character they've ever done, at least, appropriate to the setting-wise. Geralt was pretty fun just by having a wizard-style character in your customs that you can use. But they've already given us Hildy as well.
Fight.
Hopefully, when they it'll give them the hopefully it'll inspire them to move on to Soulcalibur 7 as well. And if they start rehashing Soulcalibur 2 and Soulcalibur 7, fine, whatever. But hopefully they'll give us more modes for that too, like another Chronicles game, or maybe even. This is my super dream, which is never going to happen, but I really wish it would. A standalone Chronicles of the Sword game for Soulcalibur. That would be so nice. I believe Setsuka is going to be part of Season 2's thing. I watched a video of some data mined, a couple of videos about data mined resources in Soulcalibur, and they were actually able to they figured out that Cassandra and Amy were going to be the last characters in the DLC long before they were announced, because they were data mined their names were data mined in the resources. And so they got smart after that and started couching giving nicknames to the characters they were preparing in the resources instead of using their real names. But among those names was Snow, which if you've read the backstory for Setsuka, her name means snowflower. And no other character has a connection to Snow, but that is one of the names that's in the data mined resources for the upcoming DLC. Along with Stone, who would probably be Rock, Yellow, which apparently Hwang is a yellow in Korean, so that would imply he's coming back as well, and a couple of others as well. So most likely, after the second DLC, there's going to be most likely a third as well to get the rest of those characters, but they really seem to be focusing on all that. That would, yeah. There's always a possibility, but oh golly, I hope not. That would be the most horrible thing ever. I would not want, although I don't mind having characters who use their fist weapons, because then I can make my own martial artist with the custom set. But golly, do I not want Snow from Final Fantasy 13 as that guest character. No, thank you. Although it's definitely a possibility since Square has already joined with them. Yeah. But then again, 2B doesn't make much sense either. Kind of fun to play, but definitely was not the guest character I would have chosen. At least it made that famous streamer girl happy. Tane was her name, whatever. We did a lot of interviews with it. Actually, quite true. Noctis would be the most likely Final Fantasy character at this point, since they're still trying to hype up and do stuff for Final Fantasy 15. Or maybe a character from Final Fantasy 14, because I think that is actually their most lucrative Final Fantasy at this point. Or maybe somebody from 7 to hype up the remake. 13, yeah, that's probably good and done and gone.
Decisive battle. Battle 1. Fight!
With as much as I love this mode, I would really love for them to make a standalone Chronicles of the Sword game just on its own. And see what that provided for us in what they could do with that. Yeah. Although all the Kingdom Hearts Remind stuff is very much implying that they're going to be trying to do something with Versus 13, but at least that's entirely different characters. Versus 13 was supposed to be 15 from what I remember reading. Nice little time save there. Surprised that it's not more than that. My new strat that I don't think I've had a chance to. Okay, let's see if I can get this strat working properly. I have to use everybody. No choice. Okay, let's see. Everybody at 3, except for one at 5. No, I want Tina to be the one at 5, because she's the one I want to involve those other fights in. Yeah, after getting 2 sequels to that game. Okay, let me go ahead and fortify this immediately. Okay, everybody else should be able to go straight from here to the end. Or maybe not. They are... Ah, that character didn't run up when they should have. That's interesting. Oh well, so I guess I'm going to fight them here. No matter. Go ahead and pull that back now so I don't forget. That was kind of weird. It's slightly different than I usually do it because, again, I'm taking special care of which characters I want to fight where. But, actually could have pulled my main character back for those fights as well. Not that it matters.
Battle 1. Fight.
You're way too cheap. Already at 47. And all that experience. Okay, so... now, I need to remember to fortify this as I'm passing through it. Give all my characters orders again. It's a little bit sad that this happened. Usually when I've been employing this strat before, one of the enemies immediately runs up here and actually fights me in the field, which is why I thought I was okay to give orders to everybody else immediately. But he was slow in doing it. Fortify, make sure that gets done. Now I can start giving the orders. Okay, that's all of them, right? Yes. Alright, so now I battle these two. Yep. It is interesting when they use tents for the strongholds instead of actual strongholds. It's also amazing that a little bit of money can cause all your fortifications that got broken down to instantly be raised up to better parts. But, you know.
Battle 1. Fight.
Oh, jeez.
Where are you going?
Come on. There we go. It was kind of fun. It was interesting. I'm not that good with it, unfortunately, but it is definitely an interesting one there. I think my favorite of the 17 was the Grieve Edge, because it was the most unique. So many, like this kunai is really fun to use, but obviously it's just a bad talkie weapon. The fan and as well, it was at least a unique thing that nobody had done before. Yep. Quite honestly, when it comes right down to it, I liked all the weapons, all the styles. There are a few that kind of I don't like much, like Voldo, although there are a few things I was able to do with it that were fun. Never liked Voldo's style much, but even pretty much all the 17 styles I like in various ways. Not always good with them all. But I definitely enjoyed using them. Sword and Shield has always been one of the rougher ones, which is why I'm so down on Abilia during this run. It feels like Sword and Shield, especially a short Sword and Shield, and not like a larger longsword style one. If they did another Sword and Shield, it should have been an actually closer to Knight weapon than a third or technically fourth copy of the Greek short Sword and Shield that Sophitia and Cassandra and Lizardman have already been using for so many games. Still got its own fun tricks and stuff, but not nearly as good as either Sophitia or Cassandra. It's really hard for me to use. The fan has a couple of things I can spam that are okay in this, as well as a couple of really neat things too. Sending out waves of wind was always a spell-like effect that I really liked. Wave blades are fun. I wish that they were a little bit more usable in this as well, since I almost always have them and have Reese around early on. Rapier was the one that they kept. They did slight things off of it. It seemed like a bad Raphael clone, but using Amy with it did actually make it start to be unique. Similar to Cassandra and Sophitia, they did a little bit more with it there. Okay, now, did I do everything right? That's going to be real close. Yep. Slightly shorter, but slightly faster as well.
Decisive battle.
Gleam's another fun one. She's probably my 5th favorite character. I was trying to figure that out yesterday. My top 5s. And without them in the list here, it was a little, while I'm doing the game, is a little bit harder to remember. Sungmina, Keelik, Siegfried, then Xianghua, and probably Talim. Maybe even Talim above Xianghua. But just no style beats here. Okay, let's see what I can do. This is actually a pretty good style for fighting him in this thing, I think. Although he's blocking most of it. Yeah, that was unfortunate. Not a super bad start, though. I really wish I had Aelion for this fight. Yep.
Battle 2. Fight.
I don't have anything useful for this. That's so hard to use properly, but not what I want either. Yes, good. Attack throws can affect these people, so if I can get that off, this can actually be okay. But darn it. He's dodging it too well. Okay, I could probably get some decent free damage if I can get distance with the fan. I think Yui Lin is next. Yep.
Battle 3. Fight.
He took damage. He's mostly ducking it, which is what they do. But it's doing some damage. She might actually get the win. Val still could get the win.
Fight.
Not quite. This is going to finish her. So 3 deaths is kind of bad, but considering I don't get to use what I use, this is... Abilia is going to finish him off, of all people. That's hilarious. That's actually really hilarious.
Battle 4. Fight.
You deserved that.
One fight I use Abilia for. She gets a victory against Gerardo.
You are strong.
Yeah, it actually has a couple of different styles to it, but it does use a little bit of Xianghua's moves.
Right now, your strength is controlled by others.
It has a little bit of, who else in it, I think.
Think for a moment.
Not quite
For
Voldo.
whom do you wield your
Can't remember.
power? For what purpose? And against whom?
But that sidestep B was stolen from Xianghua, yeah.
You must learn to control that strength yourself. Otherwise, you will never become
I think it's
a true warrior.
it's down forward B. The your standard launch command is developed a little bit from Taki's. It's actually the same as the kunais. Very dramatic anime speech to the one person who doesn't listen, too. That's the hilarious thing. Abilia takes off after this, says, "Well, we've done our job," and leaves and doesn't care, and then we have to fight her later. Every other character, you know, sticks with you and decides to rebel and all that, so. Despite 3 deaths, this is more than a minute time save. So good. But again, 3 isn't super duper unusual for MCO, since I'm only playing with one main, one created character. Alright, we'll go ahead and take Tina and Yui Lin. Hopefully I won't have to use any of them, except for Mikuni. Maybe Tina. We will see. Oh, my least favorite Chronicle. This Chronicle is the equivalent of FF6's The Masa Sea. A little bit of battling and stuff, but just so much time as we do a turning point in the game. So, everybody, how's everybody doing this morning or afternoon? Yeah, so many of these names are like really Greek in origin, Chinese in origin, Japanese, you know, a lot of different various things, but Tina is such a more modern name, you know, from like at least 17th century onward kind of thing. It maybe, and maybe even not until after that. It's very, very interesting. But actually, the Japanese love the name Tina. I know a lot of different Japanese sources. So there's like, they named that character in Dead or Alive Tina. Tina was actually what Terra was called in Final Fantasy VI before they thought that that was not the same as you. They thought that wasn't a great name for a fantasy main character, so they changed it to Terra when they translated it to English. Tina is a character in a couple of other anime that I've seen, usually American. It's just that the Japanese think that Tina is a great name, maybe because they can pronounce it. I'm fine with that too. Tina is my youngest sister as well, so especially when I'm doing this version, I feel like she's in my party, as it were, but definitely not the same style as most of the rest of the names of the characters here.
You should really give up. I'm sorry, but I must move on.
Fun fact as well, when I first started playing, the very first time I played Chronicles of the Sword, I was doing it with my sisters watching, and so we decided to make characters together, and then we let the youngest, Tina, make her first character. She made herself Tina. We made her a ninja and gave her kunai, and we're using that the whole time. And then we had this extra Tina added to our party, so we had 2 Tinas with kunai in our party in that first ever game we had. That was very hilarious. 15 minutes on this is not too bad. I think it's pretty much impossible for me to not PB at this point, but I definitely want to continue saving as much time. Indeed. Yeah, definitely one of the most unusual names. I'm trying to think if there's any other names I remember seeing that seem just like such a normal 20th century, 21st century American name. I really don't think so. There's no Chris, no Dan. Although Dan is technically could also be just a short Japanese name anyway, but not even a Dan, no Don, no Ron, no Matt, no Luke even.
Battle 1. Fight.
Although again, Luke would be more medieval style since it's from biblical as well and not shortened Luke. Or we have Luca, which already is more exotic than just Luke would be. But even if he were just Luke, that'd be more exotic, as it were, than Tina would be. Just 3 characters. I hate this Chronicle so much because you've been fighting with so much. They finally gave you 5 again after forcing you to use 4 for a couple. You're so used to having 5 characters, then they give you 3. Not just 4, 3. And I don't understand why. And it's especially awful. I could see them going down to 4 because there is the potential that you only have 4 characters, as I do now. But 3? It's just so painful. It makes everything so much slower. It's a pretty big drop from 5 to 4, but it's even bigger drop from 5 to 3. And especially when you're playing casually for the first couple of times, and you're trying to defeat every enemy, and then you have to go up against Sasaomel with his down lose, or both Yun Sung and Talim, and you get a maximum of 3 characters in those fights. It's just awful.
Fight.
I think the first few times I played, I eventually gave up on Talim and Yun Sung because I couldn't beat them in their stupid whirlwind thing together with all 3 of my characters.
Battle 2. Fight.
Please do not be rude. Okay, good. There we go.
You should really give up. It looks like I won today, but who knows what'll happen.
Holy cow,
next
already
time.
almost level 50. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and fortify this for safety because there's a good chance I could lose to these guys here. And actually, I'm gonna have you soak up the damage for me. Normally I like to only give 1 order, but I think I'd rather go ahead and just have them all here. Loses a tiny bit of time optimally, but would lose a whole lot more time if anything goes wrong, and the odds of that are pretty good. These 2 are very much strong enough to defeat my main character if things don't go right.
Battle 1. Fight.
Excellent.
Fight.
Oh, how did that go low? Yeah.
Did I do it? Did I do it?
Battle 2. Fight.
Well, playing
I'm
around
sorry,
like
but
that
I
got me
must
my
move
life
on.
back at least. The next encounter is going to be the worst, of course. For that wonderful separate. I have a couple of decent running forward attacks, but once again, we have to plow through now 2 more level 3s and then a level 4. We almost take more strongholds than we fight people, and with the strongholds now having 500 hit points each on these, just again, having 3 characters. Oh, I hate it so much. Oh well. Once we get to 17, things get interesting again. We'll get Aelion back, so we'll have 5 characters for that, but hopefully nobody but Mikuni will be fighting. 18, we'll have Megha back, thank goodness. And he will hopefully do most of the fighting for us. For basic, probably, I don't know who will have to do most of the fighting there. Possibly still Mikuni. $115 hit points. At least the rest of her stats are good. I am amazing that I haven't lost since, when was it? Chronicles 6 was where I got my 3rd death. Maybe even Chronicles 7. Can't quite remember.
Decisive battle.
Might have been Chronicle 5 and 6, where I had my 2nd and 3rd losses. Not 5, that's Bridge.
Battle 1. Fight.
Did I do it?
Okay, that worked. Wasn't the best, but but I survived one more fight. Now the toughest one. Konomi is really, really nasty.
Fight.
Oh, I might have her. Yes. Oh, darn. Not quite, but close enough.
Fight.
Okay. All right. I might lose to the last guy, but it's a low chance, and if I do, it's not nearly as much time loss. This has a chance of being a pretty good split still, despite difficulty with a couple of the fights. Didn't die. It has some really neat things about it, but it definitely has some of the more unrealistic style things, just really crazy, like teleporting into the air and throwing giant flaming shuriken down, flaming because it's all guard break, but it's unblockable. But a lot of that style teleporting and a couple of different things you can do off of it. Yeah, it's got some pretty weird stuff on it. The giant shuriken has a lot of weird moves. It is to a degree. It's kind of a weird thing because when I first found Soulcalibur II and started playing it, I was most impressed by how realistic the sword styles were for the most part, though there are definitely supernatural things about them, and of course Soulcalibur and Soul Edge are magic swords. But definitely, as the series has gone on, they've been a lot less frugal with the magic, I guess you could say. They're definitely throwing in a whole bunch more. I always talk about things like that too. I say Grieve Edge is my favorite of the styles, just an aesthetic. The idea of wielding blades on your feet was really neat to me, but totally unrealistic. It's a really silly weapon that way, but, you know, again, I always counter myself too. What exactly about Soulcalibur is really that realistic? Some of the styles are neatly patterned off of real styles that of weapon combat, but it is definitely not intended to be true to life.
Decisive battle.
Yeah. And again, it seems like they've added more ninjutsu-style moves to Taki as the time has gone on, and same with other characters. 5 was when they really seemed to break the boundary most by introducing Zwei and Viola. Those two were definitely non-realistic, totally inhuman styles.
You should really give up.
And Zauselmel sorcery, yeah.
It looks like I got lucky.
It's one of the things that actually made me really glad to have Geralt added as a character as well and let us customize using his ability, is because it gives it a lot, gives you the ability to feel like you can make a true sword and sorcery style character, not just a swordsman who uses maybe a tiny bit of magic or unreal attacks. I really like how they added more, it was a really good split, nearly a minute. They added a lot more sorcery even to Zauselmel's attack pool rather than just the Scythe Blade. Okay, time to get Megha back. Since I already used her as well, I'm still not sure which is closest. Yeah, her orb was... As a style, I was really fascinated by her orb. She was one of my favorite styles that they added in Soul Calibur 5. That magic orb of hers was just cool. And once again, you know, Soul Calibur 5 could have done some interesting things. It really seemed like they hinted at and really made it seem like Viola was what happened to Amy eventually, but they never really go into that enough to really show what it could have been about and everything. Zwei barely showed up. He was all this big promoted character, and he had a few lines and fought with, now I can't even remember the name of the kid anymore, against Sophidia's kids and stuff, but it was only just all about Sophidia's two kids fighting each other, being the things of the swords. Patroclus, that's right. Pyrrha and Patroclus. For some reason I was thinking it started with an A, which is why I couldn't think of it.
Decisive battle.
It's just such a weird name. I go through moments where I remember it fine, and then a couple days later I was just thinking about it and talking about him, and I totally can't remember his name.
Battle 1. Fight.
Come on, Megha! Oh my word, I've never seen him do that to me before. Come back to my side, I need you. Like, seriously, I need my katana style. Alright, now Sophitia. The 2 times we get to see Soul Calibur characters in this run are on this map, because it just happens to be the fastest. They're punishing me hard. Can't wait to see what Tira's going to do.
You should really give up. It looks like I won today, but who knows what'll
That's
happen
about
next
as
time.
bad as those fights can go without killing me. Very, very annoying. I have a really good split for this too. It probably went just about perfect. So I'm going to lose some of this wonderful time I have, but that's okay. Not the worst. Nice. For my viewing pleasure now. That's one of the nice things about Soul Calibur 3 Chronicles of the Sword, is it's one of the most relaxed speed runs you could ever do. That was yours? Nice. That's
Decisive battle.
you could use that for a Soul Calibur 6 meme as well, and have and add Grow in there.
Battle 1. Fight.
There we go. Now I've got you, Tira. Okay.
You should really give up. I'm sorry, but I must move on.
Yeah, and it's the same with Grow, except that it's outsiders. Just kill the outsiders. Stop the outsiders. Although essentially talking about the same thing. That's like Naruto screaming Sasuke, and Sora screaming Riku, and Patroclus screaming Hellfested. Yep. Yes, Kagome screaming Inuyasha, indeed. Kagome! Or Kikyo. I was thinking about Inuyasha as he split his time between screaming at Kagome and then screaming for Kikyo whenever she showed up. Yeah, same here. As annoying as they could be, I really liked pretty much all the characters in that series. Or at least, you know, the main characters. Inuyasha and Kagome were both, as much as they had their emotional problems, I always really felt that, they were realistic, and everything else, you know, and it was just fun. But Kagome was a young teen thrust into this situation, so it makes sense that she'd be moody and have these troubles. I mean, teens are emotional wrecks anyway. Inuyasha had been rejected his entire life by everything. Yeah, Miroku was definitely the character intended to be a bit silly, but shouldn't have been. Yeah. Especially since he should have... the two halves of the coin were totally wrong, too. He wasn't just a pathetic sexual harassment character. He was a sexual harassment character that they wanted you to empathize with because he also had a tragic backstory of being cursed and losing his father the way he did. You know, they instead tied that tragedy into his sexual harassment, like, because I'm cursed and I may die, I need to pass this curse on to my son before I do. So will you have my child? And to convince you how much I deeply care about this, let me grope you. Yes. Oh, that was a decent split. Yeah. One of those things that definitely is becoming more and more yikes as we take those things quite a bit more seriously. Okay, now who do I want? Megha, Aelion, Tina, and I guess Yui Lin I'd like to dress. Aeneas, maybe? I'll take Yui Lin, though. All the same. Probably better against Abilia. Let's see. Oh. Nope, one other trick to do first. Hopefully I can get this to work out the way I want it to this time. Okay, 3, 3, 3. So this is one of what I call the messy Chronicles. I can never seem to get them to operate in the way I want them to. Every time I think I know what they're going to do, and I've come up with a clever way to deal with it, they always do something different. But by moving my main character out here, I'm hoping to lure at least some of them towards me. Which some of them head this way and some of them don't. But right now, nope, they're all ganging up here, unless they decide to take the southern road, which they might. Ah, thank goodness. Okay, so now, yes, this is working out as intended. Good. Last time I did this, possibly because of the, I went too far with them. They ended up heading straight up the path and not going towards my main character like I wanted them to. And now they're going back down again. Maybe I should have stayed out a little bit longer. Or moved forward to engage. Fighting one battle with her is not the end of the world usually, especially if it's early.
Battle 1. Fight.
If it prevents me from fighting a bunch of other battles.
Ring out.
Nice little ring out there.
Don't hold back next time.
Okay, okay. Oh, Aelion, she's not the one I wanted to have fight this. Darn. Okay, well, better than nothing. Those three look like they're coming, so I'll need to fight them next, but I need to pull somebody out so that,
Fate. Battle 1. Fight.
Goodness. This guy's getting way too good at dodging these attacks.
You should have said so if you're so weak.
Okay, you fight these three. And that should be fine otherwise, actually. Again, a couple more fights than I like, but this, it should go a lot better after this. This is almost good. Maybe if I do run forward with my cavalry enough to fight one person.
Battle 1. Fight.
Here's the most hilarious character in the game. Level 3 Soldier Baldwin in the third from the last Chronicle. A mistake in the programming of the game, I think. A presence he should have been in Chronicle 1. They either removed him on purpose because they didn't want him there, or too many named characters, or because they just forgot to put him in after designing him. And so for whatever reason, when he shows up here, he has the appearance and the level of somebody who should have been with Abilia in Chronicle 1. Both, he's a unique character, pretty basic style equipment though, and a basic weapon. Not basic, but one of the very first ones you unlock. Like Notice here. And Ishtar, who we fought already. Those are Abilia's troops that she had in Chronicle 1. Regardless of the sentiment of it, I remark upon my... I would like to find out the reason for that sometime. See if there was some way to know, but I doubt I'll ever find out. I always speculate on it, and I think I know the reasons, but regardless, it's funny to have a level 3 character, especially a named character, unique character, in this late Chronicle. Yep. And again, I think that's a programming error and something they did. They forgot to upgrade his level for this map, or maybe there are two versions of each character or multiple if they're on multiple maps, and so it pulled up the wrong Baldwin because he wasn't used in Chronicle 1. That's my theory crafting, my speculation on it.
Battle 1. Fight.
Should have just done the follow-up. Would have been a little bit faster, though. Level 37 Samurai is actually really high attack power, too. That's the huge advantage to Megha.
Battle 2.
Even more than any Swordmasters I'd have at this point.
Ring out.
I'll take you on anytime you want.
You can see that his strength there is near the edge of the diamond anyway. This wonderful diamond stat increase. Another level, another point of strength. All right. Okay, gonna pull Yui Lin back here. Alright, now to battle Abelia. I should be able to take her out with this group. I'm not so sure about her comrades, though. We will see. Because she's our third and final Guardian Force. Guardian Force is so powerful, they brought it back in Libra of Souls after heavily nerfing it, and it's still the worst, mission you can go through in Libra of Souls. When they only react to very strong attacks, they don't react to weak ones. Still really nasty. But here they don't react to strong attacks, weak attacks, nothing but those wonderful...
Battle 1. Fight.
Yeah, that's fine.
Damn.
Let's see, Tina next, I think. Or maybe it might actually be Aelion because she's hurt so much. Yeah, of course.
Fight.
There we go. Funny. Oh well. I have one person left, that's fine.
Battle 3. Fight.
And perfect.
Battle 4.
Now,
Fight.
in order to do these guys, I need to be very careful here and... Oh, darn, I fell off. Okay. if I get them to the edge, I can try and trick them off. Oh, too far. Darn. Well, that sucks. So, now my characters would respawn at the northernmost fortress. I do have one character here who can try and complete the action, but he has a couple guys coming for him, so I'll have to fight them all. Oh, except for one thing. We didn't need to take the stronghold. All we had to do was defeat Abilia. So, we win. Yes, I did fall off on purpose because of that. Minus 13. This is looking really good. Okay, let's see. Back to, Bandit. We're going to take Aeus, Megha, Aelion, and play at 5. Never. Yeah, going through here will probably get me up to 55. Which is good. Not quite as bad as Chronicles 16 for slowness, taking out a lot of empty strongholds, but it's not as bad because we have 5 characters instead of 3. Otherwise, this is definitely the biggest map of any of the Chronicles. Most strongholds you have to fight through. If you're doing 100%, which I have run kind of meme reasons a couple of times, this is definitely a difficult cat. This is the longest Chronicle on 100% categories, all strongholds. Not quite as long on all enemies, which is actually the 100% style category I'd like to work on more. Because while taking all strongholds and enemies out definitely feels accomplishable, and it's only a couple hours longer, it's still a couple hours, it'd be like an hour for all enemies, and there it would have a lot of meaning. On all enemies, you're spending a lot of time hitting empty strongholds, which just is not very fun. It's definitely the least fun part of this run, is when you're just sitting hitting the strongholds. Definitely the biggest problem I have with getting this run into major marathons, be just the basic length of it, is that there is so much of it that is pretty passively downtime.
Decisive battle.
There's actually a lot behind the scenes for this. It's a run that I spent a lot of time thinking about and trying things out and moving things around, but most of the really difficult part of this run is in planning it out rather than executing it. It's all behind the scenes stuff, deciding which routes to take are better, knowing when to move characters around. I was blocking. Shouldn't have been able to do that. Oh well, got him now. Not super duper worried too much about these fights. It's bad if I suffer a death, of course, but it's not very common. At this point, I'm just so high level. They're high level too, of course, but spent most of the game actually under leveled.
You should really give up. It looks like I got lucky.
I think I'm actually going to spend, especially since I have so much time for this run, but also time that I can make up, I think I'm actually going to take some time next Chronicle to examine my characters just a little bit. To do something I haven't done before. I actually need to go all the way. Okay, Megha, I want you to go this way, get yourself a couple more levels as well. Let's see, is Megha second? He is. Okay, that's good, actually. I can take advantage of that. Get him a couple of good fights on this one. So he maybe will get himself to 40 at least. Maybe a little farther than that.
Final battle, fight!
That attack tracked a lot more than it should have. I should have been able to ring her out easily, but she was not cooperating.
Don't hold back next time.
Not to worry. That gets me at 39. I'm definitely within striking distance of 40. Gonna give me a lot of attack power. Why weren't you ordered to go all the way? That's a small time loss. 13 is really good for this time. I might lose a little bit of time there too. Oh well. I think probably, since I have difficulty with it regardless, I think I actually want to bring the characters with the highest attack power into the final Chronicle. So I know that's probably going to be Megha and Aelion, who have done very well for me anyway. I think they're both samurai. I think Aelion is one as well. She might be... I'm pretty sure she's a samurai, actually. So her attack power is very, very high. She was doing a lot of damage on all of her attacks. But I need to figure out if high-level Luna has more than, say, Adelia or somebody else. Adelia's probably got a really good attack power, so I'll likely have to use her.
You should really give up. It looks like I
It will also pay off to ensure that Megha takes no damage in the fights. It's something I don't worry about because I don't want to waste time pausing, but I'd gain more time by having a full strength Megha, I believe, and letting one of the others, even with the game pausing to give orders. I think that that's actually what I want to do. I'm pretty sure that I want Tina regardless because she's the only other character that I feel decent about fighting Strife with.
Fight.
You should really give up.
Did you enjoy my dance?
I'm actually really surprised, especially after how badly the first part of this went. first couple of Chronicles I had, that I'm this far ahead into
Battle
double-digit
one.
minutes.
Fight.
This is, I've only run this category twice before, regardless, and I definitely, and since I last ran it, I've learned a lot of new strats in any percent that helped out on a bunch of these Chronicles, but even so,
Fight.
again, that weird flipping hit that should not have
You should really give up.
been. Easily done. That's it for me, Kenny.
I'm sorry, but I must move on.
111 wins. Plus whatever she'll get in the next Chronicle, but we won't see those stats. It counts as a win when you defeat a enemy in the field, and whoever lands the killing blow is the one who gets the experience, which becomes important in the next one, sort of. Doesn't really matter, but I definitely am hoping that certain of my characters will get the killing blow. We can find out. Oh, Aeneas is going first. That's right, darn. It's worth it to not use Aeneas on this map just so that Megha goes first. Something to remember for later. I'm actually going to pull him back right before we finish it off so that he isn't involved in the fight. I'd rather give it to Megha. I want Megha to have that experience and get as much, as high as he can. He's my trump card. Long drawn out taking of the final stronghold. Okay, final fight against Chester,
Decisive
as well as one generic swordsman who always decides to retreat into the main stronghold for reasons I cannot fathom, just to make this slightly more annoying. Not any better or worse or anything, just more annoying, because I'd rather just fight them all in the field. But whatever.
battle.
Needs more experience from Megha, tiny bit. And because it's fun, go out after her.
Battle 2. Fight. Ring out. Fight.
And there's our level 40 and 41. Nice. 2 levels. Big boost to strength, some boost to vitality, hit points, and agility. You always get hit points every level regardless. Yeah, still time save. Nice. Alright, my best one was only 5 minutes. It went perfectly. It's probably not going to be that good, so I'm going to lose some of this time I have, but that's okay. I'm going to make it note for later on. Okay, so 123 strength, 168, 137, 223, which is obvious, 221. I figured she's also a samurai. 147 is good. 143 on Luna and 168 on Abilia. I'll go ahead and use Abilia as my 5th then. Now I'm going to watch to make sure that Megha and Tina in particular do not take any of the damage. Abilia and Elion will be the ones to do so. after Mikuni, because Mikuni can take all the damage because she's the very last one. So let's stay on Megha, and if Megha gets ahead, I will pause him slightly. I'll lose a little bit of time there, but guaranteeing he takes no damage is very important. Oh, blast. I forgot something very important. Probably still faster to do this. Like, why isn't he taking damage? Oh, because I forgot to make my character's infantry. So yeah, definitely going to lose a couple of minutes, but oh well. Distracted by the fact that I was trying to figure out who to send, that I forgot to change them. It is indeed some serious gold. It's totally maxed. I can't spend money on anything except for fortifying fortresses, and if I was to spend all my gold fortifying fortresses, I would still gain more money from each scenario than I would spend. So I have permanently infinite money now since the game is totally unlocked. Oh, my splits. Yes. That's because I haven't run this so very much. And unfortunately, Megha was in the lead, but I didn't notice. That's unfortunate. He's going to take a bit of damage here. Yeah, it was really funny. The beginning of this was really awful, but golly, he took more damage than Mikuni did in hers. Hina gained a level, which is nice. Looks like he's behind now. I need to zoom in and get close so I can tell a little bit better. Well, that's not a bad amount of HP loss, provided I don't lose any more. Who is it now? Bilia? No, it's Mikuni again then. Okay, that's fine. Alien level? Okay. Or attack power at least against these guys. You can never tell who it's going to be. I thought I could try and tell, but it's pointless, so I guess I'm just hoping. Abilia, that's the one I want to be taking damage. Abilia level. Okay, Mikuni again, but she has plenty of hit points since she's level 57. She'll be fine. But yeah, this is only my third run of this category, and since I last ran it, I've come up with better strats for everything else. Plus, I put a lot more thought into what I wanted to do with my characters, since I only have the one created character, and it's just been making a pretty huge difference overall. Even so, I'm pretty amazed that it's this good. Oh, please, not. I'm just going to battle this. I'm not going to let Megha lose all that health. I can't afford to. So hopefully this will get him back some health. So unfortunately, this is another small time loss, but that's okay. I had plenty of time to lose for it. I need to order Megha one at a time, so he's always in the rear. There, all his health's back. Now we're all good.
I'll take you on anytime you want.
At the very least, when I do my next run, even though it seems so fantastic this time, I definitely have some other points that I can improve upon even further. But this is pretty amazing jump regardless. Okay, I'm going to have Abilia take the most damage first. Megha, level 43. Also got some good experience there. Level for Aelion. Oh, Tina. Good, good. So if I am forced to use Tina because Megha fails, then, speaking of which, I'll go ahead and send her up next. But hopefully Megha will win this, because if not, it gets a lot more dangerous since he's the only katana user I have. I might be able to finish him off with Aelion third if that happens, but Belia and main character are not going to have hardly any chance. And that, of course, will ruin it. I can still PB this, even if I die and have to redo the scenario, but...
Final battle, fight!
Ouch. And there's the AI being the AI at just impact. Okay, that's it. Yes, okay. Not too bad, despite the mess-ups. And checking things. So, I'll need to remember that these are the characters that I want. Aelion, Abelia, Megha, and Tina, of course. And a 310, nearly a sub 310 on MCO now. That is very, pardon me, very good. Very satisfied with that. Yes, I did. I actually submitted this category as well. I went ahead and submitted any percent, SC percent, and any percent MCO. I kind of think that maybe MCO might be slightly more appealing because then I can do a little bit more with one character, and it makes the rest of the run a little bit more interesting because I don't just go, okay, spin to win, and when I don't do that, overrun things with invincible Swordmasters. Trying to recover with other characters and use slightly more weapons makes the rest of the run slightly more entertaining, I think. And I feel really good about it now that it's only 5 minutes slower than my regular any percent. That is really surprising.
And the people were
that feels good.
Only with devastated lands, and the
I wanted to get this down to about a 315. I figured I'd be satisfied with that, but a 310,
people, however,
all the better.
Eventually forgot the hardships. They rebuilt the raised
that's unfortunate. It's a little easier for me, of course, since I live semi-locally. Just a 3-hour drive down there. I have family I stay with, so it doesn't cost me very much to even go. Just take the trips over. So I go every year. And plus, right now, I don't have any other things that could get in the way of that anyway. Although I always had time before to take off for my job if I wanted.
The tales of the
animatronic statue. Got to talk about that since it's here.
Lands.
Voila. I love that animatronic statue. But that's it. Once again, I'm going to be streaming a lot more regularly now. Chronicles of the Sword, Mondays and Tuesdays, maybe some other Soulcalibur stuff along with it at those times. My Gold Box runs Wednesday and Thursday. Friday I'm going to be doing Let's Play style things, starting with doing Chronicles of the Sword, an emulator on my computer. This is being run off PS2, but I also have an emulator and have my stuff downloaded to run the emulator, and I'm going to be running through Soulcalibur 3, unlocking everything, and once I finally, I'm going to be streaming as I do that, and once I finish it, I'm going to upload it to the speedrun.com resources, so people can download it, and if they can get that data onto their memory card, they can just upload it regular or just use it with their own emulators there. Hopefully it will inspire a few more people to start picking this game up and playing with it. I would really love to see that. I've had a bit of interest spoken the last couple of weeks from at least one other runner. Somebody before has told me he might, except that he doesn't have a fully unlocked game to really go at it. But it definitely wouldn't mind seeing more. But in any case, that's going to be it for me today. As in the future, I'm probably going to be streaming longer as well since I have time now. But for now, one big long run a day is all I can pretty much get through. So thanks for watching. We'll go ahead and close this out with the usual words, and I'll close my stream.
Legend will never die.
And I'll keep going back every weekday morning until I decide to change the time to something else. So take it easy, and I'll see you all later.